Hi, everybody. This is Lee at Fresh Astrology. How are you? So this is part of a series and discussion I'm having with my community. I've been talking about it both inside my membership lounge and out here in YouTube, the YouTube space, that the way I see astrology and the way it impacts us is this. While it's true that the sun, the moon, the planets are all out there in our solar system, and the stars are, around our solar system. Uh, it is true physically they're out there, but if astrology does impact us, there must be a mechanism for it. And I believe it has something to do with energy. And so the way I see it is that the planet's energies flow through us at all times, from the time we're born all the way through our life until the time we die. That the energy is never not flowing through us. We don't have some, magical, sci-fi shield that, somehow prevents Pluto from coming through us at all times, or Neptune or Uranus. It's all at all times, 24/7, from all the planets, the sun, the moon, the stars. We're just constantly in a sea, an ocean of this energy. And no one has more access to it than another person. So we're all imbued with equal energy. So in this case, we're discussing Uranus. And what I'm inviting you to consider and just play around with is this idea that you are Uranus. Seriously, you're not only Uranus. That's not your only quality, but it's a part of you. A part of you is Uranus, and it carries all the qualities of Uranus, both positive and, maybe you could see it as negative, but all the different qualities. So you have the ability to be fickle and change your mind for no apparent reason, to go off in one direction and just change your mind and go off in a different direction. You have this ability to be kind of an explorer and go off and explore things. You have this ability to invent and create things. You have the ability to think with your higher mind, and it's a part of your brain that goes beyond the basics, that can start to conceptualize and envision and begin to invent and create. Something like, even if you're not an engineer, you have the capability to be an engineer. And that might be hard for some of you if you think, well, I'm not good at math, or I was never good at school. Your brain and you, even without your brain, but just your energy, like you have the same ability, this Uranian ability to invent that everyone else has. Maybe you didn't like school. Maybe school wasn't built for the way you learn, but you still have the ability to invent things and create things and envision things and to be brilliant. And so you are Uranus at all times. You have the ability to be a little offbeat and just kind of march to your own drummer, to be kind of against the grain in terms of society or your family, to be a rebel. You have this ability to be stubborn and set in your ways and set in your belief system, like Uranus. You are Uranus. And so what this means is that you have this enormous capacity for the power of that energy that flows through you. And when we walk around not understanding that we have access to these different power sources, from the planets, from the sun, the moon, the stars, and from many other things that we're just not aware of, when we walk around not understanding that we have this, we behave differently. We act small. We diminish ourselves. We don't have hope. We don't believe we can do things. So it's important to begin to understand just what you're born with and who you are. You are Uranus, at least a part of you. And again, you're not only Uranus, but you embody Uranus just as much as anybody else does, with all the power that that suggests, all the themes that I just discussed. So start to play around with this idea. What if, just ask your question, journal about it, write it down. If I were really Uranus, I would, and write out the things you would do. It gets you thinking differently to begin to imagine that you actually have these mythological godlike qualities. And I'm not saying, um, if you start to get like freaked out by, the religious idea of God, we're really talking more metaphorically here. But it is a true power. It is a true superpower. But I don't want you to get it confused with like a religion or something like that. But what if you were Uranus and you carried all the powers? If you suddenly woke up and it was like you were Harry Potter or Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter series, and you had this magical ability to utilize the tools of Uranus. What would that mean for you? How would you behave differently? What could you do if that were true that you'd think you can't do now? That's what I want you to start thinking about. All right, take care, guys.